And thank you for the comments on this. So the Trump tax scam playbook has more than one page. Page one is hiding the giveaways to the wealthy by trying to throw some small cuts, or at least allegedly throw some small cuts to working Americans. Then there's page two, using magic math to pretend that the tax cuts don't cost anything at all. The 2017 Trump tax cut was so big that Republicans had to use budget gimmicks and accounting tricks in order to hide the true cost. One of the main tools was to set up a bunch of the cuts to expire next year that limited the cost to just $2 trillion. So, what's Trump's second-term agenda? Keep cutting taxes for billionaires and pretend they don't cost anything. Magic math formula number one, save money by defunding the IRS and letting wealthy tax cheats off the hook. Mr. Duke, help us double-check the math here. Does cutting the IRS enforcement budget actually save any money?
No. The Congressional Budget Office estimates that every dollar cut from IRS enforcement actually increases the deficit by $2.50. Other estimates go as high as $11. And just fundamentally, they are trying to pay for tax cuts for the rich with tax cuts for the rich. It breaks the laws of arithmetic.
Yeah. But that's not the only magic math. Senator Crapo, the incoming chief Republican tax writer in the Senate, has an even better scam. He's running around Capitol Hill saying that Congress shouldn't pay for a single cent of the $5 trillion in the Trump tax cut extensions because that's just extending current policy. And if you're extending current policy, it doesn't cost anything. It's free. Mr. Duke, another math question for you. Does $2 trillion in tax cuts in 2017 plus another $5 trillion in extensions in 2025 equals $0 in cost?
No. I didn't hear Senator Crapo say that extending the American Rescue Plan child tax credit was also free because they would have just been expending current policy either. This is just a way to hide the cost of enormous tax cuts for the wealthy while clearing the way for Elon Musk's cuts to healthcare and food for families.
Yeah. You know, none of this is new. For decades, Republicans have over and over passed massive giveaways to the wealthy, used fake math to try to hide the true cost, and then turned around and claimed to be shocked by the ballooning deficit. Then, in fake outrage, they demand that we cut the deficit by cutting funding for everything from Social Security to public schools. Trump and his MAGA buddies have made clear that they plan to run the same play again next year. They want to hide the true cost of tax cuts for billionaires and billionaire corporations and do it while claiming that they're helping working people. Mr. Morial, should working people buy this?
No, and Senator Warren, since tax cut fever in the GOP began in the 1980s, I encourage all Americans to go look at the widening gap between rich and poor Americans, between rich Americans and middle-class Americans that so many people in elected office profess to champion for, and to look at the widening wealth and income gap since tax cut fever began in the 1980s in the GOP. You can do a through line. In the Reagan years, the economy was about a $5 trillion economy. Today, it's almost a $25 trillion economy. Yet, wages for the bottom 70% of Americans have not kept pace with that growth. In fact, it's gone in reverse. It's time for this tax cut fever to get the proper dosage of medicine, to end this, if you will, call it a scam? Yes, I call it razoo and a head fake, right? Get Americans looking over here believing that they're going to get something and they get crumbs. Yeah. While over on the other side, massive subsidies are given to Americans who don't want nor need these subsidies. And then behind it, come back and challenge the programs, workforce, Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, aid to education, aid to small businesses that we sorely need. So you have, I think, Senator Warren, accurately characterize the current situation, and I'm just proud and committed to working with you and others to get a fair deal for the American people. The American people need a fair deal, a better deal when it comes to tax and fiscal policy.
Oh, I very much appreciate your comments on this. Look, Democrats in Congress should flat out reject Trump's tax scam 2.0 and the junk math that Republicans are using to try to sell this thing. The tax code is not about magic math. It is about choices. Are we a country that invests in roads and bridges, in housing, in healthcare, in our children, or a nation that cuts taxes for billionaires and billionaire corporations? American families are counting on us to have their backs, and that means fighting for a tax code that demands that the wealthy pay their fair share, just like everyone else. A tax code that invests in American workers, a tax code that helps us build a stronger economy in which everyone gets a chance to participate. In next year's tax debate, every person in the United States Senate will have the opportunity to show the American people whose side they are on. The side of billionaires clamoring for more handouts, or the side of hardworking Americans. Because next year is a chance to fight for a tax code that works for working people, a chance to fight against more giveaways to the wealthy and giant corporations, and to flat out reject any package that includes billionaire handouts. It is a chance next year to fight for a tax code that raises taxes on the wealthy to fund the investments that we all need. And I am proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with working people across this country in this fight. I want to say one more time how much I thank the witnesses for being here today, for the testimony that you provide, and for the work you do every day. For any senators who wish to submit questions for the record, those questions will be due 1 week from today, Wednesday, November 27th. And for our witnesses, you will have 45 days to respond to any questions. Thank you again. And with that, this hearing is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.